Happy Money Making Monday. CJ Curry here, back with another NBA player prop video. We're going to be looking at the PrizePicks board, trying to find some value early on this Monday morning. If you're new to the channel and haven't subscribed yet, well, here's your chance. It's free for you to hit the subscribe button. I appreciate all of those who have already subscribed. While you're down there hitting the subscribe button, you might as well hit that like button as well. Let's go ahead and run it up. Let's see if we can get 100 or more likes on today's video. Now, one more added incentive of being a subscriber, hitting that like button, is if you leave a comment down in the comment section below with your favorite player prop of the day, and that player prop ends up hitting, I'm selecting random people from the comment section from each and every video to win a free month of Dub Club. That's 30 days of all access to all my picks, plays, parlays, access to our VIP private Discord community. So if that's interesting to you, be a subscriber, hit the like button, and go down there to the comment section, comment your favorite NBA player prop of the day, and hopefully that prop hits, someone tails it, and they end up winning because of your knowledge and expertise. Now, speaking of picking a winner, we're going to pick a winner from Friday's video. I don't do videos on the weekend, so we are back at it here bright and early on this Monday morning, but we've got a winner from Friday's video. It is Rafado1. Rafado1's comment was Alex Sarr of the Washington Wizards to go over 21.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And yes, Alex Sarr absolutely crushed 21.5 PRA. So congratulations to Rafado1. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Anyways, slide into our free Discord. There's a link down in the description below. Once you're in Discord, shoot me a DM, and then we will get you set up with a free month of Dub Club where you can get all the picks, plays, and parlays and start winning more together with myself and the rest of our community members. So shout out to Rafado for leaving that winning pick. Hopefully you guys tailed Rafado's pick, and you ended up cashing out alongside of him. All right, so what are we looking at in today's video? Well, number of different player props kind of catching my eye over on PrizePicks right now. There is some good value up on the board. Now, you don't have to take these on PrizePicks if you don't want to. In fact, I've got promo links for pretty much every site that you can think of down in the description of today's video. So if you want to try out a different site, maybe you're tired of PrizePicks or you're not interested in PrizePicks and you want to give Underdog a spin, Sleeper a spin, Better spin, I got promo codes for everything, gang. Just go down to the description of today's video. I got you, okay? So let's start looking at some of these that are projecting well, that are looking good on various sports books. This first one is probably going to be a little bit controversial to some of you folks out there because Josh Giddey's been filling it up each and every night for the most part. But I am looking to take the under on Josh Giddey at 36.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Now, you're probably like, CJ, Mr. Curry, how dare you? Why would you go under on Josh Giddey, man? He is a baller. And yes, like I said, he has been putting up very good numbers. But I don't care what he's done in the past. I care more so about what he could potentially do tonight. And that's where we're looking at the sportsbook data here, going over to a site like the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. And when we go over to the DGF Optimizer, we type in Josh Giddey's name. You're going to see some unders popping up for Josh Giddey, interestingly enough. You can go under on his assists at 9, got over a 54% chance based on the odds pulled from multiple sports books, about 10 or so sports books and DFS betting apps. You can take the under on the 9 assists. You could also go under on the PRA, 36.5 PRA's got almost a 53% chance of hitting. You're starting to see some of these other sports books like FanDuel, like DraftKings, and others lower his line from 36.5 PRA down to 35.5 PRA. So expect a bump in the near future for Josh Giddey and these points, rebounds, and assists. Expect it to go from 36.5 maybe down to 36, possibly even down to 35.5. But as you know, I don't like taking full point bumps up or down. So if it does get bumped a full point, you may want to proceed with caution. If it's a half a point, go ahead and give it a whirl. But let's take a look at some of the projections now that we know Josh Giddey is a plus EV play, a positive expected value play. There you go. I got it out. Taking a look at the first projection. This is RotoWire. RotoWire's built out a fantastic pick'em prop player tool. This one here supports a number of sites, including PrizePicks, but say you play on Underdog or DraftKings Pick 6, or maybe you play on Sleeper, maybe you bet on a sports book like FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, or Hard Rock. It's got you covered for a number of different sites and sports books. But take a look at Josh Giddey here for the lean more and lean less options. The top lean less option today is his PRA as of right now. And you're going to see a lot of other options for lean less. You could go under on the rebounds and assists. You could go under on just the assists like we talked about. Under on the points. You could go under on the points plus assists if you so choose. But we're talking PRA for this particular point in case, and he is projected for 34.47 points, rebounds, and assists. That's about 2 PRA lower than where his line currently sits at 36.5. And now again, as I mentioned in all my videos, you probably want to shave at least another 10% off of this projection, which puts him even further down below 36.5 PRA. Now, I will caution you, as I mentioned before, over the last 10 games or so, Josh Giddey has been killing it. He has been killing it, and there's really no two ways about it. 80% hit rate. So he's gone over this in 8 out of his last 10 games, averaging about 41.3 PRA. But he's not perfect. There are games in which Giddey has gone under, like 34 against Indiana, 36 against Phoenix. Just because he's done something a lot recently doesn't mean he's going to do it for the rest of his life. In other words, go over for the rest of his life. There are some games in there where he tends to struggle, and he does struggle against tonight's opponent, the Denver Nuggets. The last 5 times that he's played Denver, he has gone over in 5 out of 5. The most recent matchup was back on January the 27th, where he put up 26 PRA versus the Nuggets. So historically speaking, has not done good or well against the Denver Nuggets in their head-to-head matchups. But take that with a grain of salt. I just like to point stuff like that out to you guys, since you are here collecting information to make an informed decision on your own. But let's look at some other projections, because we all know that every projection model is just a little bit different from one to the next. This projection is Fantasy Labs. Fantasy Labs has a projection for Giddey at 34.3 points, rebounds, and assists. So that does put him under by more than 2 PRA. So we love to see that. Going over to Shot Quality. Shot Quality is hosted over here on rotogrinders.com. They've got Giddey at 36.17 PRA. So a little bit more of a favorable projection for the over, but still less than 36.5 PRA. So a number of different projections here for Josh Giddey. I'll get you one more. This one's going to be over on what is formerly known as Number Fire, now known as FanDuel Research. When you crunch all these numbers together, you end up with, 18.1 on the points, another 8.8 on the boards, and then another 7.4 on the assists, 34.3 PRA. So pretty much every projection model that you can pull up has Giddey going under 36.5 PRA. So they're a lot smarter than I am, are these projection models, so I'm going to side with them over my own bias, and we'll see what happens tonight with Josh Giddey. Pick number 2 is not Josh Richards, Nick Richards. Nick Richards under 19.5 PRA going up against the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks have not allowed a ton of points, rebounds, and assists to the center position over the last 7 games or so, and hopefully that's the case again here tonight. Maybe Nick Richards ends up staying under 19.5 PRA as he faces off against the Milwaukee Buckaroos. Taking a look at the lines here for Nick Richards. The under on his rebounds at 8.5 is the top way to play him. You could go over on his points, just his points alone, at 9.5. But the PRA has about a 51.52% chance of staying under at 19.5. So I think this one will probably get bumped down to maybe 19 if some momentum ends up kind of happening here on these different sports books. But a few different ways you can play Nick Richards. Do with this information what you will, bet accordingly. But let's go take a look at some of the projections here for Richards on various player prop projection models, starting with RotoWire. By the way, if you want a 2-day all-access free pass to RotoWire, take this tool for a test drive, well, I've got you covered. There's a link down in the description of today's video. Nick Richards is sitting out here at 19.5 PRA. The best way to play him, according to the RotoWire projection tools, is the under on his PRA at 19.5. He's projected for about 18 today. Again, shave off another 10%. That puts him below 18 PRA. He's another guy, kind of like Josh Giddey, who over the last 10 games or so has done really well here. But do we go with the hit rates or do we go with today's player projections on these various sites? That's kind of the dilemma that we're left with, right? What I will say is that he's averaging about 23 points, rebounds, and assists over his last 10 games, which is about a 70% hit rate. He's coming off of a pretty big game against the Chicago Bulls, but Chicago's not very good defensively. They are not built the same as Milwaukee when it comes to defending against opposing bigs. And then against the Milwaukee Bucks over the last 4 games or so, some of these games are from last season, mind you, like this one where he went over and had 27 PRA. The games from this season have not been so good to Mr. Nick Richards in this head-to-head matchup, but looking like he's gone under more than over in his recent head-to-heads. Take a look at some of these other projections. We're going to slide back over here to Fantasy Labs. Fantasy Labs has Nick Richards at 17.3 PRA, putting him under 19.5 quite comfortably. Another projection, 18.67, a little bit higher over on shot quality in their advanced analytics and projections, but still less than 19.5. And then, of course, we've got to go check out FanDuel Research, formerly known as Number Fire. And when we pulled Nick Richards' name up over there, they got him going for about 8 points, so 7.9 on the points, another 7.4 on the rebounds, plus another 0.8 for the assists, bringing his grand total today to 16.1. 16.1, you can see it right above my head here. 16.1 PRA for Nick Richards. So that would be a lean under option for me. And then finally, the third and final pick is going to be big man Jackson Hayes of the Los Angeles Lakers, going over 12.5 points plus rebounds. Now, I will say that the Orlando Magic typically are pretty tough against opposing centers, but this line is just so low. It's so juicy. It looks like one of those lines that Jackson Hayes could potentially clear in 3 quarters of play. I mean, it's very, very low, 12.5. And he's been going over this number quite frequently. And of course, yes, it is a positive expected value play, and it is projecting well. So let's go take a look at Mr. Jackson Hayes across the board here. Number of different ways you could play Jackson Hayes. You could take the over on the points and assists, 53.46%. But what I will say about this one is that it didn't have a whole lot of support from various sports books, meaning when you consider how many data points or sources that the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer is able to pull from, it's only got one sports book, and then it's got Fliff and Hot Streak to really reference. So I kind of skipped over that one, but I don't hate that. I skipped over that and went to points plus rebounds at 12.5. 52.1% chance for him to go over on that points plus rebounds number, which is not too shabby, 52.1%. And then most of the sports books have him at 12.5, but there are a couple of books out there like BetMGM and Caesars who already have him up at 13.5 points plus rebounds. So don't be surprised if this one might get slid up to about 13 PR today. We'll just have to wait and see how things start to play out here for Jackson Hayes. Now let's go check out some of these projections. If you go over here to RotoWire, you're not going to see any lean less suggestions or recommendations from RotoWire. Everything's going to be lean more, including the points plus rebounds. But you got rebounds plus assists. You got rebounds, points and assists, points. Pretty much anything Jackson Hayes related is leaning over or more in today's matchup against the Magic. Popping open the points plus rebounds card here. 15.54 projected points plus rebounds. That's a differential of more than 3 PR. Even if you were to shave off another 10% off of this projection, he's still sitting comfortably over his line, which is 12.5 on PrizePicks right now. Now, he has gone over this in 9 out of his last 10 games, 16.4 points plus rebounds per game over that 10-game span. So he's done a really darn good job here. Now, some of these were nail biters, very close calls. 13 PR, for example, against the Clippers, 13 PR against the Knicks, 13 PR against the Nuggets, and then he had 14 against Milwaukee, 14 against Chicago. So he doesn't always crush his lines. Sometimes it is a sweat. And tonight, I would say that this is more of a sweaty play, being that this matchup against the Orlando Magic is a difficult one on paper, but strictly on paper. They still got to go out there and play. Anyways, let's go and take a look at some of these other Jackson Hayes projections, and then we'll get you on your way so you can enjoy your money-making Monday. 15.3 is the projected points plus rebounds over on Fantasy Labs. Pretty good projection on the line being just 12.5. Second projection for you over here on RotoWire, 16.88 points plus rebounds for Jackson Hayes. So Jackson Hayes is a projection darling today. Despite the slow momentum on the sports books, For the most part, Jackson Hayes is just projecting really, really well. I wouldn't be surprised if this one catches a little bit of steam throughout the day. And then this last projection is going to be over here on the FanDuel Research, aka Number Fire page, where he's projected for about 8.2 points and another 6.1 rebounds, bringing him up to about 14.3 points plus rebounds. Again, the line is 12.5, gang. So huge projections across the board on multiple NBA player prop projection models for big Jackson Hayes. But here's the portion of the video where I turn things over to you, the viewing audience. What do you think about these picks? Maybe you've got your own. Maybe, just maybe, you want to be a winner of a free month of Dub Club. Leave your favorite player prop of the day down in the comments section below. You literally have nothing to lose. There's no judgment, shame, or embarrassment around here. We're all just trying to help each other win more together. So if you want to win more together with us, hey, you might win that free month of Dub Club by leaving a winning player prop down in the comments section below. Also, make sure you're subscribed and you've hit that like button. Let's go for 100 or more likes. I'm counting on you guys to help me get it done. Appreciate it. And we will see you real soon for another player prop video. Good luck. Peace.